part 3 of a series showing you step by step how to install solar panels, pretty much by yourself, and save tens of thousands of dollars. This is the complete do-it-yourself guide to solar installation. In this video, I will show you how to install the roof hooks and mounting rails. Alright, here's a brief overview of the mounting hardware that came with my kit. This is the rail, and they come in lengths of around 7 foot, a little bit more than 7 foot, enough to fit 2 panels lengthwise or one horizontally. And so most of the rails have similar structure, a groove here on the side and a groove on the top. The groove on the side, you're going to connect the roof mounted brackets or hooks in there, and they just kind of go in. You can either put them in this, you can enter them in the side like that, or slide them in the end if you're close to the end, and then just use a hex wrench and tighten them up. I connected one to a driver and made it nice and easy. Also turned out that I had the same amount of the required pressure or the torque that it needed. So I recommend using a driver. Makes it nice and fast. So once you have the hook connected, and there's various types of hooks. This is for a cement tile roof. They make hooks for shingle roofs, for metal roofs. The idea is that you end up with something sticking up that you can attach the rail to. Then once you have all the rails in position, you take the clamps. This is a middle clamp. The end clamp is similar except for just missing one side. And likewise, you can just put it right in there and clamp it down right to tighten it up against the right torque against the panels that are laying flat on this. And one thing before you do that, actually, you're going to want to splice them together. So if you're going to need multiple rails, and so the splice just kind of fits in to one groove and then into the other. The splice that came with my kit also had a plate on the top here that would clamp down. That would make it so that everything would be grounded. So this is how the roof kit worked. It was very convenient. I found it to be very useful and very simple to put in. One of the benefits of doing your own solar is that you can move your roof around a little bit. So I had a bunch of vents, pipes that would be coming up, and I was able to move those myself. I had one right there, a pipe sticking up right there that I just changed with a kind of a lower vent. It's not actually a vent, it's for the plumbing, just to have so it doesn't form a vacuum. So there's nothing actually venting out of there, so I think it'll be fine underneath the solar panels. We'll see if the inspector agrees. But that one up there was down kind of in the middle there, and that one was actually out of the way, so I didn't have to move that one. And then there was one right there as well that I moved, combined it with that one. You can see off in the distance there's some other houses that they just weren't able to get as many panels on because of those vents. Solar installers won't move those vents around because you have to go up into the attic and move things around. I thought it was going to be harder than it was. It was actually fairly simple. If you know how to connect any kind of PVC pipes up in your attic, it's pretty much just as simple as that. And then as I mentioned previously, the tiles were an impediment for me. I was really scared to work with the tile up on the roof, but it turned out to be pretty easy to pull those out as well. So I was able to move those vents with no problem. And now I'm able to fit 2 entire series of 8 panels on this roof, which it never would have fit if I didn't move those vents. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install these brackets that hold the rails in place. I've got cement tiles that are very durable. I haven't broken any of them yet, so pretty impressed with these. I'll show you how to get to them in just a second, but let me show you first how to find the joists or the beams underneath the roof. In my house, I just reached down underneath the eaves here with the rain gutters, and you can see that my joists come out. So I just find one of those and then come and mark a spot with some chalk. And then I know that my joists are 2 feet on center, so I just mark the whole line there, and that gives me a good idea on which tile I need to take out. Okay, so I've determined that there's a joist based on the rain gutter. I reached underneath and was able to find where that's at. Coming up somewhere in this tile right here. So, simply lift that tile above it, tile next to it, and just pull this right on out. And there's a little furring strip in there that I'll show you in a second, but this lip rests right on there. I found that every other row has nails in it, and if I hit a row that has a nail, you just gently rock it, or use one of these pry bars and just lift up the nail and it comes right out. So it's pretty easy. This was one of the parts of the solar install that had me most concerned. I was afraid that I was going to come up here and break a bunch of tiles and it'd be tough to replace them, but I haven't broken any. You can see there's one that's broken there, but that was the installers when they originally built the house. I'll just replace that while I'm up here. And then I went to a used tile place that had just a whole bunch of old tiles that they're recycling, and I got a couple of them. I think they were $5 or $6 each, and I got 5 of them just in case I needed to replace any that I broke, but I haven't broken any yet, so I'm fairly impressed. All right, so let me find the joist here. All right, here I've got the flat tile roof bracket. This was part of the accessories kit that came with the solar system that I bought from Alibaba from China. Check out the plans and purchasing section of this series and you'll get my advice on that. But the accessories did get through customs and this was included in that, and they seem like they're pretty strong, pretty impressed. I'm using this stud finder to find out where the joists are at to be able to screw in the brackets. I got this on Amazon. I'm not super impressed with it. It's led me wrong a number of times. We'll see what happens this time. So usually I found that 1 inch works best. I'll get it calibrated. All right, now I should find a joist somewhere along here. Let me calibrate it again because I think the joist is probably right in here somewhere. Calibrate it closer to the empty area and see if it finds it then. There we go. So looks like it is finding it. All right. Mark that with my finger, make a little line. I did have some chalk, but it's round and rolled off the roof and haven't gotten to get it yet. Which brings up another good point for safety. I don't let my kids out while I'm working here underneath where I've been working. And also, I've got things like this that are square. Got my square bucket there so that things don't roll down. All right, so put the bracket on. I've been lining up kind of the bottom right to where this comes out, and it seems like it's been working well. And here's the moment of truth. All right, I indeed did hit a joist, so that's good. You'll know if you don't because it goes right through the plywood that's underneath the tar paper. And if that's the case, you just caulk it up. All right, I'm grabbing the sealant that I've been using. I've got PL Premium Constructed Adhesive that is waterproof and forms a good bond. So here I made a mistake and used the wrong caulking. What I used was a landscape adhesive, which was waterproof, but the problem is it dries rigid. So as it goes through the heating and cooling cycle, it's eventually going to crack. So I had to go back and I used a different product called Blackjack. And that's actually the product I originally purchased for it. The adhesive for some reason was in the box and I just went ahead and used it. I had to go back and redo a few of the tile hooks. So used blackjack or a similar caulk specialized for the roof, they stay flexible as they dry, and that allows them to expand and contract with the heat and cold and maintain the waterproof seal. So stick that in there. Pretty liberal with it. Like I mentioned, if I've done holes in the past, I just put that in there as well. Got my screws, these came with them. One thing that I found is you want to find the hole. There we are. Get it in the hole a little bit, because otherwise you might be drilling into some hole that you haven't screwed yet. I got my driver. And that's nice and solid. And then you can see underneath there, the furring strip is where the tile goes. You kind of have to snag it a little bit because now you've got this lip. You can see I hit that, how hard these cement tiles are. I'm pretty impressed. But it usually just slides right in there. Rest it up against the furring. And there we go. You may have noticed when I put that tile on that it's not completely flush. There's a little bit of wiggle room there because this bracket is resting on one of the bottom ribs there. To me, it's not a big deal. I've seen other YouTubers that have cut that off. As far as I'm concerned, the gap is not that big. Nobody's ever going to be walking on it because there's solar panels going to be right there. I'm not a perfectionist, I'm more of a utilitarian, so if it doesn't affect the roof structure or integrity, then it's not really worth the extra effort to cut that rib out with a diamond grinder. But if you're a perfectionist, you really want it done that way, that's fine as well, but I think that that's going to work just fine, and if I can save time and energy, then I will, as long as it is still effective and safe. So what I'd do next is I'd load up all of my gear into my square box, move it down 4 feet, and that's the tile that I'd use next, and use my stud finder to try to find the stud, and repeat the process as many times as you plan to acquire. All right, so here we have the rail system, which I move side up so that the panels can install on it. And these kind of jelly rock these in, and tighten them up a little bit, and they stay a little flush there. I'll adjust this up and down once I get the solar panels to see where the best fit is for that array. Tighten that up, and then later on I'll come and there's a specific pressure that you need to put them on, and I've got a wrench that will measure the pressure and then make sure that it's all the right way, but that's pretty much it. Have my torque wrench, have it set to the manufacturer recommended between 15 and 20 Newton meters. So I'm setting it at 17.15. Just take it, go until you hear a click, and then once you click, just click it one more time to make sure that it's good, and you're set. These are already at least 17.5, which is what my which is what my driver must be putting it at. So I think I'm good. I made a mistake and I put the rails in the wrong spot, at least one set of them here for the Series 3. I had the rails installed right there, but as you can see by the chalk outline, that would have left a lot of room on that side. I have no idea why I did that. So no problem, just take the tiles out, remove the screws, seal it up. Obviously having less holes in your roof is better, but when you make a mistake, you gotta fix it. Here is the completed rail and bracket, ready to put the panels on. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to get more videos in this series, The Complete Do-It-Yourself Guide to Solar Installation. And as always, please leave comments and tips below to help all of us feel more confident in installing our own solar.